Okay, so let's go head-to-head for the Giants game against the Washington Commanders on Sunday. First up, Shaun, Mark Lewinsky against Daron Payne. Now, this is a big one. For as far as Lewinsky goes, the Giants are running for 5 yards a pop when going directly behind right guard. He's been pretty strong in the running game. Payne, this guy has been incredible. He's good against the run, he's good against the pass, and oh, by the way, he's got 5 pass deflections at the line of scrimmage. The Giants, though, they need to keep an eye on him.
You got to treat it like any other player, but you have to have more of a sense of urgency to just be more of a pest, I would say. Just making sure that you're on, you're on everybody all the time. If they're trying to put their hands up, making sure that you're either running them, pull, whatever you got to do, pull them down, stay on them, run block, whatever. You got to play late into the downs. I think that's the mindset that we should have regardless.
Mark Lewinsky has been extremely durable for the Giants, as you can see, playing in 99% of the offensive snaps. And I think one of the challenges he's going to have, obviously, against a guy like Daron Payne is in pass protection. All right, it's the change of direction that Daron Payne really creates a lot of issues with guards. And that's been the one area that I think Mark Lewinsky has struggled with this year, was the outside move to the inside move, or an inside defender to the outside move. That change of direction is something that he has really struggled with, and that's what has allowed those 3 sacks. Now, I think the one thing that jumps out at me with Daron Payne is that he's so much quicker now. He's faster. His hands are better. He has really morphed into a great pass rusher, whereas, Paul, when he came into the league, first and second down was really his forte. Now he's added that pass rushing skills on third down that can create some havoc.
Let's go to our second matchup. Jaylon Smith against Brian Robinson. Now, about a month ago, Jaylon Smith moved to the middle linebacker spot. Remember, he was on the weak side during that time. 27 tackles, tied for second on the Giants. He has really done a good job against the run. 10 tackles last week against Dallas, his season high. Robinson, guy had 100 yards for the first time this season last week against Atlanta, and he runs with ferocity. That's why the Giants know they need to hit him hard.
Great back with great tenacity. Anytime you play a back like that, it's important that you're very sound in your attention to detail, being in the gap that you're supposed to be in, understanding your gap integrity and leverage. He's a guy that's a force. He's a force to reckon with. So you got to make sure you bring your feet up under you. You got to make sure you gang tackle. It's going to take 11 men, to try and contain number 8.
Gibson also runs the ball very well. So what is the best thing that this team can do to correct the rush defense that's had some trouble the last few weeks?
It's about being sound. We got to play sound football. We got to execute longer than the other team. And the battle is going to be won in the trenches as well. So the biggest thing for us is making sure that we're locked and loaded, we're prepared. They got a great backfield, great speed all across the board. Gibson can even run routes out the backfield as well. Just very versatile and dynamic. So for us, we got to bring our A game.
I'm really looking forward to this matchup, the veteran linebacker versus the young pup with the fresh legs right here. And Jaylon Smith, one of the things that I think he's brought to this Giants defense is not just the intensity, but the sure tackles. You don't see Jaylon Smith miss a lot of tackles. When he gets his arms wrapped around guys, they go down. He's going to need that against Brian Robinson because, Paul, as you mentioned, he runs hard. He's got a young pop to his legs. And you mentioned the big game that he had last week against the Atlanta Falcons. In addition to these rushing stats, he had 2 catches for 20 yards, and on his touchdown reception, he trucked a safety. So, listen, he brings a truck stick factor with the running game and as a running back out of the backfield. So, I think this is going to be very pivotal, not just for Jaylon Smith, who whenever you're the Mike linebacker, you have to shadow the running back, all right? You almost are like their mirror, all right? Anytime they open up to the wide, you've got to mimic them defensively and shadow them. The real challenge is going to be on screens and in the passing game. They're going to try to get Brian Robinson in space and try to create that speed mismatch against Jaylon.
One thing to remember about Robinson, of running backs with over 100 carries this year, he's only been stopped for a loss 6 times, tied for second fewest in the National Football League. That'll do it for head-to-head this week.